In this section, I wanted to share some tricks of the trade, so let's get straight into it. Here we can see a cutter which is much longer than normal. This is perfect for deep pockets, and I wanted to let you know that such cutters are available. However, as soon as you exceed a length to diameter ratio of 3 to 4, there's a risk of tool chatter, meaning the tool can start to vibrate, which damages the part being machined and, at best, leaves a very poor surface finish. To mitigate against this, a very small depth of cut is used with these very long tools, and consequently it takes longer to machine, increasing your cost. You may have seen very long drillings in some parts and wondered how these are achieved. This slide shows gun drilling tools which have an extreme L/D ratio. They're very thin and made to be very flexible. They have holes in them to pass cutting fluid down the flute to the end, which is used as guidance. With this kind of tool, it's possible to drill 6mm holes at 550mm long, though over this distance the tool wanders by around 0.5 millimetre. I have specified the use of these tools in the past for pneumatic drillings in F1 cylinder heads. This slide shows spline cutting, which is traditionally done using a shaping tool, shown in the top left picture. The shaper is raised and lowered to create the teeth of the spline. Nowadays, it's possible to buy spline cutters that fit the milling head of the machine and approach the part from the side rather than the end. The picture in the centre and to the right show these kinds of tools. These are excellent for external splines, though the tool diameter means that a run-out is required at the end of the spline, though if a shoulder is present close to the spline, the cutter can cut grooves into that and it will still function as a shoulder. Here we can see the V16 engine which is in development for Bugatti. The blue circle indicates a stud coming down from the cylinder block, which will protrude into the hole in the sump and require a nut to tighten the parts together. Note that the positions marked with the two red circles mate together and a stud will protrude out of the bottom of the sump. This requires a spot face to be machined on the lower side of the sump where there's no access for a machine tool. I've put a diagram on the bottom left to help. The machine tool needs to come in from the top of the sump. This requires a special tool called a back spot face tool, and there are a few varieties to choose from. The cutter passes through the pilot hole and then the tip is extended either hydraulically using cutting fluid, with a spring, or using centrifugal force. It can then be rotated in order to cut the back spot face on the part. This is a neat trick to enable machining in inaccessible areas. Before we go into the final slide showing you how you can hugely drop costs, here's a quick advert. In this final slide, you can see parts are mounted to vertical tombstones, which can have anything from 2 faces to 8. They're used to batch process multiple parts at a time, which dramatically reduces cost. In the centre picture you can see 2 setups for the same part. It's first machined on one side, then swapped over to the second side on the next face. The horizontal machining centre can machine all of the parts on all of the faces by indexing the tombstone around before the door is opened. Finished parts are removed, raw parts are added, and the remaining parts are shuffled around for the next operations. In the top left of the slide, you can see that the tombstones are mounted on pallets, which means that automatic loading can take place and the machine can run through all of the parts overnight, even running different operations on different parts. That concludes this mini course. Hopefully you've learned some useful tips to reduce your cost, speed up manufacturing, and make life easier for you and your preferred machine shop. We'd love to hear your feedback. Please feel free to contact us through the contact form on our website. And of course, please do send us your part designs for quotation through our RFQ form. We're adding more course content all the time, so please do pop back from time to time. Bye for now.